So what I'm about to do here is a very quick audio test. One of the things that you'll discover as you begin doing vlogging and creating videos for YouTube is that the quality of the audio is actually even more important than the quality of the video. Chances are that your phone does not have the best quality microphone, and that even at a relatively close distance, it's just not going to give you the effect that you want. One of the things that I found is very important is trying out different audio configurations. Now, this same practice would be applied to lighting as well. Personally, I'm not that advanced with my lighting at this point, but audio is something I've come to really value and to take advantage of. So I'm going to show you a little bit about my setup here. And what I'm doing is comparing three different microphones. I'm going to compare the microphone that's inside my camera, which is the one that you're hearing right now. I'm going to compare a lav mic, which is a clipped-on microphone that I'm wearing on my shirt. And it looks like this little wired microphone. Now this is plugged now right into an audio recorder, and you can hear that it is very directional. If I put it really close to my mouth, it picks up quite well. If I bring it down to my shirt or different areas outside of my cone of sound, I can hear straight away through this earbud that its ability to pick that up is quite different. And getting that positioning right is a little bit tricky. It will depend on the kind of mic, it will depend on you, it will depend on the environment, it will depend on how windy it is, it will depend on the clothing that you're wearing, and it will depend on your recording device and what its options are for pickup as well. You don't want it rubbing against your clothing, you don't want it too visible, but the right lav mic and the right skill level at using it can create a very pleasing effect. The third audio device that I'm using is another recorder, but it's got a built-in microphone. I'm going to show you those recorders. And the third microphone is actually positioned by my camera, but it's got a cross-directional mic. So let's have a look at the actual setup here. So what you're seeing here is the actual setup. I've got a simple tripod running, along with the ability to clip my camera. My phone goes right into this clip holder here. On the sides, I've got this very inexpensive mounting bracket. This mounting bracket's allowed me to attach two audio capture devices. You can see this one, I've got my lav mic plugged into it here, which is clipped to my shirt, and I've also got a headset plugged in on the top, just an earbud, just so I can hear exactly what it's capturing. But this particular device, which is the H1N, put out by Zoom. Zoom has nothing to do with the video conferencing software. It's a completely different company. You can see it's got this special X-array set of microphones. And the idea is that if I set this in a particular location, I can actually record left and right channels a little bit separately. So if I'm recording, say, a band playing or two people having a conversation, I can actually pick up their levels somewhat distinctly, and then in post-processing I can adjust the balance to give them some even quality, which is actually quite nice, and it actually seems to pick up quite well. Now I've got a second exact same model, exact same device here, but I've got nothing plugged into it. So this second one is actually recording through these microphones up front. You can hear it if I tap here. You're probably going to pick that up. And if I speak very closely to it, let's see what happens. So now I'm speaking above it in one channel. Now I'm speaking below it in another channel. You should hear a bit of a left to right switch. So that is the entire simple setup. And now I've got my phone positioned back on the tripod in its clip mount, which gives me some ability to control positioning and so on, with hopefully without too much impact to the audio. The one thing to keep in mind here is that any microphone in any location is going to be subject to noises if you interfere with it directly. So if I'm playing with my lav mic here, if I end up rubbing it against my shirt or tapping it or spitting into it, or if it's too windy, I'm going to pick up all sorts of extraneous noises. If I end up tapping the stand, which I can barely hear right now, but it is a good chance that the microphone that is recording is going to pick up a lot of those vibrations through the stand very, very strongly. And the camera mic is going to have its own unique sensitivities as well. I'm not even certain where the camera mic should be, around here, I think. So it is something you really have to play with in your setup. One of the things I've found helpful is to record in multiple different locations all at once and then decide later which audio actually worked well for me. But in my experience so far with these particular devices in my particular setup, I am really liking the standalone mic, which does not use the lav. I find it clear, and although it is sensitive to any noises bumping the stand, if I wanted to pick up and move the stand, it's likely to pick up some stuff, whereas my lav mic will not. Overall, the quality is so much better that I really, really enjoy it. If you're using a camera, phone, any sort of whatever your video recording device is, make certain that you're recording the audio there as well. If for no other reason than to help you synchronize your external audio with the video that you're capturing. And one common, very, very useful old school trick to do that is anytime once you've turned on all your recording devices and you're ready to go, just do a nice clap. They'll all pick it up. And the advantage is that once you load it into something like Premiere Pro or whatever you're doing your video editing in the waveform you'll see a spike on every one of those different soundtracks, and it helps you line them up just perfectly. Trying to do it by words or by ear is incredibly painful. So make certain you do the clap. And if you forget to clap before you begin recording your podcast or whatever you're doing, clap at the end is just as good. Just make sure to do it before you start turning off your recording devices, and you'll be able to synchronize it just fine. I hope these tips are helpful. If you have any other questions, let me know.